Hello everybody, Trailer Trash Tim. How's your mom and them? Welcome to the program and a happy Wednesday to all of you. We've made it to hump day. Here we are. We're going to make it. We're going to do all right. I hooked up my camper, my little Jayco camper, actually Monday. And I hitched it up to my truck and I headed south in Alabama, and I wound up at a park where I am right now. Called Gunter Hill Campground, and I'm actually going to put up some bonus footage on the channel probably later today or sometime this week that'll just show you the campground where I am. It's not part of my normal programming, but you know, way back when I started my channel, my original idea was that my YouTube channel would just be like a online scrapbook, video scrapbook of my RV travels or what have you. Well, that's not what my channel's all about anymore, as we all know. But that's okay. I can still put up... I mean, what the heck? It's my channel, right? So this will be like bonus footage if you're just interested in where I am. And it's just a beautiful site here. It's right outside of Montgomery, Alabama. It's called Gunter Hill Campground, Army Corps of Engineer Campground. It is absolutely... I'm blown away by this place. It's just beautiful. But I came down here to get a couple of nights... R&R, and it's been fantastic. So hey, if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend it. All right, let's get going here. This story came out of the Epoch Times, and the title of the story is How the U.S. Spent $4.1 billion on Global LGBT Initiatives. The byline reads, the United States government is pouring money into LGBT initiatives in U.S. schools as well as countries from Belarus to Nigeria to China. How do you feel, if you're an American, how do you feel about the United States spending literally billions and billions of dollars to push the LGBTQ whatever agenda? Do you believe that this is a proper function of government? Do you believe that the government should be promoting these alternative lifestyle choices among the American people? And not only that, but financing this sort of thing in other countries around the world? Do you think that's a proper function of government? We're going to talk more about that in just a minute, but let me tell you, this article details a lot of the specifics about the funding for the LGBT agenda. From October the 1st of the year 2020 through September of the 30th of 2023, the United States government issued more than 1,100 grants to fund LGBT promoting projects around the world. 1,100, mind you. Here's a few examples. Plans to create a, quote, safe space for LGBTQ youth and adults to seek support and resources earned a $1.8 million grant from the United States government for the LGBT Life Center in Norfolk, Virginia. So the LGBT youth and adults need a safe space in Norfolk, Virginia? A safe space from what? A safe space from who? How are they unsafe? Is anybody hunting down LGBTQIA individuals? They need a safe space? Well, maybe I need a safe space. Are they spending any money on me? Or do you just have to have a particular kind of agenda? Here's another one, another item. A proposal for encouraging, quote, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm so sick of these terms I could vomit. In Serbia's workplaces and business communities by promoting economic empowerment of and opportunity for LGBTQI plus people in Serbia was also a winning plan. The United States government awarded the Serbian activist group $500,000. Okay, it's bad enough that the money isn't going to anybody in the United States, but somehow some group, some LGBT group in Serbia got a grant of a cool $500,000 from the United States government, funded by suckers, in other words, known otherwise as the United States taxpayer. We're sending American taxpayer dollars to a Serbian LGBTQ group. How do you feel about that if you're an American taxpayer? Here's another one. This is in Armenia. An Armenian activist group, the Pink Human Rights Defender, received $1 million from the United States government, quote, to empower the LGBTI community, unquote, in Armenia, a tiny country next to Turkey. So the American taxpayers sent $1 million to the Pink Human Rights Defender in Armenia. How do you feel about that, U.S. taxpayer, if you're watching me and you're a U.S. taxpayer? Here's another one. This just takes the cake. $324,000 in grant money was given to map, quote, historical LGBTQ spaces through gay travel guides. We have gay travel guides? What the hell is a gay travel guide? I don't know what a gay travel guide is, but apparently they have their own historical markers, and now they can point them out for you because they just got $324,000 in grant money from the United States government, which I might remind you is $33 trillion in debt, but more on that in just a moment. The United States Department of Education gave $1.2 million to the LGBTQIA plus Pride Centers in the San Diego Community College District. If this pisses you off and you're a U.S. taxpayer, good. It should piss you off. $4.1 billion to promote the LGBTQ agenda internationally. Not just in America, all around the world, in Serbia, in Armenia, in Nigeria, in China. We're just handing out money we ain't got to promote an agenda that a lot of people like me do not agree with, but we ain't got no say in it, don't you know? We just have to fund this bullshit, and that's exactly what it is. I have a theory, ladies and gentlemen, and it is that one of America's biggest exports is perversion. Now, I'm going to get off on a tangent here, and I'm going to go off on a tear, and it's very possible I may piss some people off in what I'm about to say, and if it causes you to unsubscribe, see ya. Been nice knowing you, but I don't apologize for what I'm about to say. We have a lot of people in America who, on the one hand, say they don't necessarily agree with the LGBTQ agenda, but their take on the matter is simply this: you know, as long as they're not bothering me, I don't really care what people do. I'm talking about a laissez-faire attitude when it comes to morality. Now, I'm going to harp on this for just a moment, so fasten your seatbelts. I happen to be a man who believes in traditional Christian morality. I believe, and you can feel about this however you like, that's up to you. I'm going to tell you how I believe. I believe that we have a creator, and I believe that our creator, created man and woman, male and female, and he equipped them with body parts that go together that are exclusive to male and female, if you know what I mean. He created male and he created female, and he called it good. If you think I'm a Neanderthal for saying that, that's fine. Think whatever you want. That is what I believe. That is what Christianity teaches. And Christianity teaches, despite what you may hear, that the homosexual lifestyle is not compatible with Christianity. There, I said it, just got demonetized. I don't care. That's how I feel, and I am sick and tired of having this agenda rammed down our throats. Let me get back to this. The attitude of being hands-off and saying, I don't care what other people do as long as it's in the privacy of their own bedroom. They can do whatever they want. They can love whoever they want. They can have sex with whoever they want. As long as it's behind their own closed doors, it's none of my business. And I got no say in the matter, and I don't care. They can do whatever they want to do, and that's just fine. To that, I say, that sort of laissez-faire attitude about human depravity and human morality or immorality has gotten us to the place where we are now. And let me tell you why. It is because those who align themselves with the LGBTQIA whatever agenda will never stop in such a place. They will not stop with just getting you to agree that it's okay for them to be whatever they want to be, okay? Because these people have clearly an agenda, and they want this agenda financed by U.S. taxpayers, whether they agree with it or not. This is why you cannot be complicit when it comes to matters of morality. This is why you cannot have a laissez-faire attitude when it comes to human morality. This is why you cannot say, as long as they do what they do in the privacy of their own home, it doesn't bother me, it's none of my business. No, that attitude has gotten us to where we are now, where we're spending $4.1 billion in taxpayer money to promote an agenda that is nothing but a perversion. The people in these alternative, degenerate lifestyles will never stop at the point of just getting you to agree with them. They won't stop. They are going to try and indoctrinate children. They're going to try and tell you that things such as child pornography are not wrong. They're going to go so far as to tell you there's nothing wrong with man-boy love, NAMBLA. They won't stop. You're just going to say, okay, it's okay, just don't cross this line. As long as you're doing it in the privacy of your bedroom, that's okay, I won't say anything. You think they'll stop with that? No, they will not. Do you know why? Because they have an agenda. And not only do they have an agenda, they want you, the U.S. tax-paying sucker, to finance it so they can export their agenda all over the world. Now they want to go to Serbia and teach the Serbians how they can be queer. They want to go to China and Nigeria and all over the world with their agenda. You see, you can't just say, no, it's none of my business. Yeah, it is your business. And folks, I'm going to tell you something. I believe in traditional Christian morality. I believe that men are men, women are women, and sex from our Creator is meant to be those two and those two only, and anything else is a perversion. And if I just pissed you off by saying that, too bad. That's the way I feel. That's the way it is. And if you don't agree with it, go find another channel. Go ahead. Make my day. I'm sorry. No, don't say you're sorry. I am not sorry. For too long, we have sat on our hands about this issue, and for too long we have seen the LGBTQ agenda spread until the point that it is affecting children, where we have these sexually deviant freaks dressing up men like women, trying to read their perverted material to our children in libraries. And we got Republicans and other Americans who call themselves Christians who just sit on their hands and say, well, as long as you don't do it, as long as you just don't try and shove it down my throat, as long as it's in the privacy of your own home, I don't care what you do. And this is what happens. Now, I'm not saying that we got to go all Salem witch trials on these people and burn them at the stake, but I am saying enough is enough. And when it comes to proper Christian morality, it is clearly defined for us, and we have got to follow it. And we should say to those who reject the traditional forms of morality, we should simply say, we're not changing the rules to accommodate your perverse lifestyle. We're just not going to do it. This is how it is. You can conform yourself to the rules, but you're never going to get, but you're never going to get acceptance from us, much less money. I have had it up to here with the LGBT agenda. I'm tired of accommodating it. I'm tired of bending my knees and saying, well, go ahead and do it, but as long as you don't bother, no, I'm done with that. I'm done with these people because they are aggressive, they are offensive, they don't stop. You can draw a line in the sand and they'll just keep coming. They will not stop until they have screwed up every one of our kids into agreeing. First they get everybody just to agree, well it's, I don't agree with that, but it's okay if that's what they want to do. You can't say that, folks, because they have an agenda, and they will not stop until they have screwed up another kid, and that kid could be yours. It's time to push back. It is time to say no to this nonsense. It's time to tell corporations like Target that promote this kind of bullshit, this nonsense, enough. You'll never get our dollars. Look at what happened to Bud Light. I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of Americans, there's a lot of people that are watching me right now that actually agree with what I'm saying. This is not PC. You got it right. It ain't PC, but it's the truth. And there's a hell of a lot of Americans that agree with what I'm saying right now, but they're having trouble finding their voice. Well, this old boy's got a voice, and this old boy's got a spine, and I'm tired of perverts who not only have an agenda, but have the financial backing of the United States government. Enough! Enough! It might sound trite and it might sound corny, but it's the truth. God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And if you don't like it, go pound sand. That's the way it is. All right, let me move on. Where am I on time? Oh, boy. I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm just going to point out. Are you still watching? King Charles has announced in The King's Speech, great movie. If you haven't seen it, you can buy that anyway. King Charles has announced he is seeking a total ban on cigarettes in the UK. That's what the king says. No more cigarettes. Now, and he gives his reasons, which have to do with health and all this. I'm so tired of these nosy Nates. Should you smoke cigarettes? No, you probably shouldn't. Is it any of my business if you do? No, it's not. This does not equate with the last topic I just covered, folks, okay? This is a personal vice. If you engage in cigarette smoking, that's your business. I do have a laissez-faire attitude with regard to such a thing as this, because this doesn't contribute to the downfall of society. But are there not more important items that the king could be focusing on other than cigarette smoking? If you smoke cigarettes and you want my opinion, I think you need to quit. But I'm not seeking a legislative ban on the usage of cigarettes. All right, I don't want to dwell on that because I dealt with that the other day, actually. How many of you Americans watching me know that the interest on the United States debt, which is over $33 trillion, when you factor in the unfunded liabilities, it's well in excess of $220 trillion. But how many of you know that the annual interest on said debt is now over $1 trillion? Can you fathom that? The $1 trillion annual interest payment on the American debt is now the largest item in the U.S. budget. Can you believe that? The largest item is not the military budget. The largest item is not the Social Security budget. The largest item is not the welfare budget or whatever else there is. The largest item is the service on the debt. $1 trillion a year. Hey, do you think we ought to do something about that? Just a thought. Just a thought. All right, let me wrap up with this. I got to tell you, I'm impressed by what I just read from this Republican presidential candidate. As far as I'm concerned, were the candidate of choice for the Republican nomination not going to be Trump, this is probably the guy that I would like to see get the nomination. I'm not crazy about him, but Vivek Ramaswamy came out with a stroke of brilliance this week. By the way, I had a guy mail me and say, dude, you mentioned Ramaswamy. Do you not realize he's not even a Christian? And we need a Christian president? Dude, let me explain something to you real quick, okay? I didn't answer your mail, but let me just answer you right here. Bless your heart. You're one of these people who apparently thinks the United States is a Christian nation. The United States is not a Christian nation. The United States has never been a Christian nation. It has been a nation that had a lot of Christians in it, Protestant Christians in it, but it has never been an exclusively Christian nation. And it's certainly, even if at one time it was a Christian nation, it certainly isn't now. It is in the at the most, we live in a post-Christian society, but I'm not even willing to concede that. So the notion that we would have all of a sudden some Christian champion as president is just lunacy. I mean, what we've got now is what we've got. But what Vivek Ramaswamy unveiled this week is really impressive. This is in Breitbart. Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy is unveiling a No to Neocons Pledge that his fellow candidates will have to sign to serve in his administration if he wins the presidency. The pledge is comprised of 3 tenets, one requiring them to regard avoiding a third world war as a vital national objective, believing war is never a preference, only a necessity, and that the sole duty of U.S. policymakers is to U.S. citizens. Ramaswamy is set to roll out the pledge at his Stop World War III rally in Miami on Tuesday night. Listen to what he said, folks. If you want 20 more years of endless wars that don't advance our interest, then I'm not your guy. But if you want to stay out of no-win wars and make America stronger at home, I know how to get that done. Wow! Is this like the direct opposite of anything you'd hear out of neocon Nikki Haley? Etc., etc., etc. Boy, I bet this hair-lipped little Lindsey Graham McCain. He continued, this pledge is my commitment to the American people that I will lead true to these principles and hold all appointees in my administration to the same standard. Ramaswamy's latest pledge comes the day before the 3rd Republican presidential debate, where he'll share the stage with former Governor Christie, DeSantis, Haley, Tim Scott. Foreign policy is one of several areas in which the populist Ramaswamy differs from his rivals in the field, including and especially neocon Nikki Haley and Tim Scott. Throughout the race for the nomination, Ramaswamy has been very outspoken against the war in Ukraine. Dude, I'm warming up to this guy. Saying he would not send another dollar to the country if elected. Now I'm really warming up to him. At the Republican Jewish Coalition Annual Leadership Summit in October, he suggested that Israel has the right to defend itself against Hamas, Hezbollah, and other enemies, but that the United States should not be directly involved in Israel's defense. Wow! Is this a breath of fresh air? And the article goes on and on and on, but he's saying we should not send another dollar to Ukraine. Amen, Mr. Ramaswamy. And he says to his political rivals, if you wish to serve in my administration, you're going to have to serve my No Neocons Pledge. Wow! Well, that pretty much eliminates every single one of them. I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with this guy. He is at least saying the right things with regard to this. Neocons Pledge. Vivek, son, rock on. You're saying the right things. That's what I've been saying. Ukraine and Russia, let them fight it out. It's none of our business. Israel and Hamas, let them fight it out. It's none of our business. Stay out, as General Washington said, of foreign entanglements. Tend to your own domestic affairs. For God's sakes, defend your own border and stop at that. That's what Vivek apparently is saying, and I, for one, Trailer Trash Tim, am impressed. Wow. This, my friends, is a breath of fresh air. There you have it. Hey, let me hear what you have to say about everything I said today. I know I was kind of controversial, but I am unapologetic about anything that I said today. You can give me your comments down below and say, right on, brother, or you can say, man, you really stink. Go right ahead. I can take it, I promise. Hey, give me a big thumbs up on this video down below. Hit that thumbs up button if you would, please. If you have not yet subscribed to the Triple T channel, I invite you to do so. We'd love to have you. Everybody go out there and have a great Wednesday. This is Trailer Trash Tim, and I will see you tomorrow.